falsely facts, no fascist hacks, no Marxist Democrats, no censorship, can't force my lips. Governor, unmuzzle all these kids. Too much CO2, too much fake news. Manchurian president, it's all for
Savages and kings, and why the sea is boiling hot, and whether pigs have wings. The time has come! Authoritarian Joe, Fascista Joe, at it again. Let's see what he had to say yesterday, Thursday, September 9th, 2021.
We must increase vaccinations among the unvaccinated with new vaccination requirements. With nearly 80 million eligible Americans who have not gotten vaccinated.
And that is their choice. Everybody has made up their mind to whether they wanted to get vaccinated or not. Those who chose to got it, and those who chose not to didn't. And many of them discussed it with their doctor, and they might have discussed another therapy or just weighed their own individual risk and reward, which is what an individual is supposed to do with his doctor. Back to Dr. Joe.
With nearly 80 million eligible Americans who have not gotten vaccinated, many said they were waiting for approval from the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA.
The fascist delusional administration. Yeah, many were waiting, and once they got the approval, they were free to go ahead and get vaccinated, but many didn't really care what they had to say about it and had already made up their mind.
FDA. Well, last month, the FDA granted that approval. So the time for waiting is over. This
So
summer,
says
we made progress
Authoritarian
with a
Joe.
combination of vaccine requirements and incentives, as well as the FDA approval. 4 million
Great job. You pushed through your approval.
more people got their first shot in August than they did in July. But we need to do more. This is not about freedom or personal choice.
It tells you right there. It's not about freedom or personal choice. That's what the far left, who believes they're in charge and believes they have authority, believes, is that it's not about freedom or personal choice. If anything is about freedom or personal choice, I think it's bodily autonomy.
It's about protecting yourself and those around you.
Which everyone is capable of learning how to do on their own. That's not your job, Joe.
The people you work with, the people you care about.
They are free to get vaccinated, and if you're vaccinated, you can still catch and spread, so it should be none of your business.
The people you love. My job as president is to protect all Americans. So tonight, I'm announcing that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employers with 100 or more employees that together employ over 80 million workers to ensure.
I wonder if he read his job requirements before he signed up for this, because I don't think that's his job.
Their workforces are fully vaccinated or show a negative
That's not
test
companies'
at least
jobs
once a
either.
week.
You know, it would actually be discrimination if a company chose to not hire someone based on a medical procedure. That's medical discrimination, and that's protected.
Some of the biggest companies are already requiring this. United Airlines, Disney, Tyson's Food, and even Fox News.
So now you're friends with Fox News. Well, you know what? It is about freedom, Joe. I know you don't believe that because you're an authoritarian, a little wannabe dictator.
The bottom line, we're going to protect vaccinated workers from unvaccinated coworkers.
Follow the science.
We're going to reduce the spread of COVID-19 by increasing the share of the workforce that is vaccinated in businesses all across America.
He keeps making empty promises. He's going to reduce the spread of COVID-19. You can't control the virus. And if you could, you already failed. You failed at a lot of things, Joe.
My plan will extend the vaccination requirements that I previously issued in the healthcare field. Already, I've announced
He's got a
we'll be
plan.
requiring vaccinations at all nursing home workers.
We're just going to require everyone to do stuff.
And Medicaid, because I have that federal authority. Tonight, I'm using that same authority.
He's got the authority, guys.
To
He likes
expand
it.
that to cover those who work in hospitals, home health care facilities, or other medical facilities. A total of 17 million healthcare workers. If you're seeking care at a health facility, you should be able to know that the people treating you are vaccinated. Simple, straightforward, period.
That's feelings over facts. When, if you're vaccinated, you could still catch and spread. In fact, you could be asymptomatic and you could feel more confident that, oh yeah, I'm vaccinated, I'm all good. Meanwhile, someone chose another therapy or decided to opt out and they're just washing their hands, being super careful. Is it really up to you to decide what's better, Joe?
Next, I will sign an executive order that will now require all executive branch federal employees.
He loves those executive orders. He's like, I have insane ideas, so I just got to sign a record amount of executive orders and rule by executive order. That's not what presidents of the United States are supposed to do, Joe.
Employees to be vaccinated, all.
Oh.
And I've signed another executive order that will require federal contractors to do the same. If you want to work with the federal government and do business with us, get vaccinated. If you want to do business with the federal government, vaccinate your workforce.
Only dictators tell you what to do with your body.
The Department of Labor will require employers with 100 or more workers to give those workers paid time off to get vaccinated. No one should lose pay in order to get vaccinated or take a loved one to get vaccinated.
Shut up.
Because I have that federal authority.
You know, Governor, the president had a lot to say yesterday, and he didn't say your name, but obviously was referring to you. What do you have to say to him back when it came to about the mask mandates?
Well, I would just say generally, when you're taking action that's unconstitutional, that threatens the jobs of the people in my state, many thousands of jobs, I'm standing for them. We're going to protect their jobs against federal overreach. And this is a guy who criticizes the state of Florida for protecting parents' rights. He says school boards should be able to eliminate parents' rights and force 5-year-old kids to wear masks all day. That's what he thinks is appropriate government. Yet, here he comes from Washington, D.C., instituting an unprecedented mandate, which even his own people have acknowledged in the past is not constitutional. That's not leadership. And I think the problem I have with Joe Biden more than anything, this guy doesn't take responsibility for anything. He's always trying to blame other people, blame other states. This is a guy that promised when he ran for president that he would shut down the virus. If you look now, there's 300% more cases in this country today than a year ago when we had no vaccines at all. So his policies are not working. He's doubling down on things that are going to be very destructive for the livelihoods of many Americans, and obviously going to be destructive to our constitutional system and the rule of law. And so these are times when you believe in that Constitution, you got to stand up. And obviously the substantive issue is important because there are places that are going to toss aside people they've worked this whole time throughout COVID. Now all of a sudden they should be tossed aside. They were working when nobody had vaccine. You don't know their history. You don't know why they're making decisions that they're making. Many of these people have already recovered and they have immunity. The idea that somehow you have somebody that gets a Johnson & Johnson, they can work, but someone that's got natural immunity somehow can't, that natural immunity is strong. So it's not based on science, and you can say he's saying he's losing patience with people. You know, at the end of the day, we don't live with a one-person rule in this country. We live in a constitutional system which people's rights are respected, but particularly in this juncture, their livelihoods and their jobs have to be protected. I mean, just think about, you know, what this mandate would do. It's going to drive people out of work, out of hospitals, out of all this stuff where you have a need for people. So it's totally counterproductive, and I think it'll ultimately lose in court. But before that, you know, there needs to be action taken to protect the people of our state and hopefully of the entire United States. Nobody should lose their job based on this decision.